Yatsli, when all of this is behind us, are you going back to Fjord Mesivernal?
It's hard to imagine leaving forever. Especially with Quilici still there. Well, what about you, dearie?
Even if I could go back, it wouldn't be the same. Who knows? Maybe getting banished was the best thing that's happened to me in... a while.
Maybe Fjord was holding you back. And you can return one day to rub all your success in their faces.
You're too kind to me, Yatsli. I don't deserve you.
For all you put up with from me, I'm sure I could be kinder. But I'm always happy to help.
I can't believe it. Ranger Dorsal, a traitor to Fjord Mesivernal. At least she isn't our problem anymore. My people let nature judge the turncoats. Always have. Rarely, and only when their guilt is certain. Exile in the living lands is not the worst fate a criminal can suffer, but it's close, and always deserved. Still, it's a shame. Dorso gave up on the dream of Fjord Mesivernal. Blamed animancers for the problems we tried to solve. And I hate to see anyone lose hope. That's all for now. Let me know if there's anything else. Anything in particular? Oh, she was incredible. A self-employed researcher working to further her own interests, answering to no one. Not that I'm overlooking her arrogance or her disdain for the lives of others. What inspires me is her persistence. More importantly, she confirmed my suspicion. The living land sits atop a closed system of Adra. If nothing else, it's good to find someone who believes in your work. It's a little early to say for certain, but maybe I haven't completely wasted my time. I've been thinking, a closed system might explain a few things. Imagine souls passing through Adra. They die here and they're reborn here, over and over. After so many lifetimes, the Adra grows dense, full of life and wisdom, fear and pain, with nowhere to go. A quaint but accurate simplification. Such an environment would be rich with essence, messy, but full of potential for something or someone to grow. Maybe that's how they started, in their most primordial form. Anyway, it's just a theory. Don't quote me on it. Go on then. Don't be shy. Anyone in particular? I warn you, I'm not the best judge of first impressions. Of course, she's brilliant, open to anything, and sees the world as she wants it to be. Yatsli gave me my first glass of wine, and the courage to approach a special someone. We have a lot of catching up to do. Indeed, old friends. When they died, Yatsley protected me. Made sure I had one consistent person in my life. I think that's why she gave me that glass of wine. Why she encouraged me to live my life to the fullest. She was making sure I hit all the milestones I could have missed. No one to get jealous over. To call it a relationship would be an insult to the word. But it was fun while it lasted. Animancy is the study of life. Unfortunately, we get so busy that we forget to live. So a little roll in the hay is good for the soul. Yatsley taught me that. Well, not the part about rolling in the hay. That was my idea, and I don't recommend it. Now that she's traveling with us, maybe she can teach you a thing or two. I think that covers everyone. And if my good opinion changes, you'll be the first to hear about it. You too.
How to know when to be quiet. What a lovely gift to find on my pillow.
Oh, yeah, interesting. I suppose that's a good skill to master.
If I didn't know better, Marius, I'd think someone was trying to tell me something.
Right. Well, the best thing to do would be to read it, see what it's all about.
And you have nothing more to say, do you?
No, I think everything's out in the open. Why?
I know I talk a lot, but had I known it bothered you so?
Oh, no. It's about maintaining stealth in a wilderness environment. Gosh, what did you think it was about?
I just assumed you were too cowardly to complain to my face, Stevie.
Not at all. If I had a problem with you, you'd know it. Trust me.
Listen, thank you for visiting Tama's memorial with me. I ran from that for so long. I never would have faced it without your help. I know. I'd forgotten what that feels like. Like I just woke up with a hangover. Every feeling, every memory I tried to keep a lid on is sloshing around, and I'm struggling to keep my balance. But I'm also remembering moments I hadn't let myself think on in a long time. Feeling warmth I couldn't get close to. Yeah, after I ride out the worst of it.
We think of grief as a burden, as something to be conquered. After a while, it gets to be so familiar, it's almost a source of comfort.
I wish this were another burden to conquer. That would feel easier. It's hard to imagine grief ever being a comfort, but I'll have to take your word for it.
I'm sure you'll be fine.
Thanks. I'll get there. And thank you for seeing this through with me. Was there something else? I'd never met Naoki. Asui arrived a few months before I left Thirdborn. I knew their squad mates better. Uriki was a ship's carpenter with the Rawatine Navy years ago. Came from a military family, but she never saw much combat herself. Manu was a deckhand on a pirate ship. Stopped in Thirdborn with his crew to resupply and never left. I don't think piracy suited him. Kiri, he was a sweet kid. Born shipboard to a mercenary captain who left him here and never came back. For the longest, I thought that was for the best. Me too. Most of all, I'm sorry I wasn't here to better prepare them.
This wasn't your fault. They just weren't ready.
Because there weren't enough seasoned soldiers to train them. The Thirdborn's in dire straits if they're sending people like this out to patrol. If you can believe it. I didn't think it was possible to talk them down, but you managed it. And you say more than their foolish hides. Those two fought for Rauatai in the Deadfire. They learned how to disrupt enemy movements and destroy supply lines. They'd have nipped and poked at your comrades at Eagle's Reach until Aedyr finally snapped back. At Thirdborn, most likely. All while the two of them remained secure and defended in their tower. Nor I, but this goes beyond defense. Thirdborn's under threat, but if loose cannons like them fire at everything that moves, they'll draw even more trouble to our walls.
They lash out like cornered animals, giving the Steel Garrote a reason to fight back. Not that they need a reason.
Still, better not to give them one. You really think any amount of chest thumping would turn away Ludwig and the Steel Garrote? Or the full force of the Aedyran army, if it came to that? The Living Lands is changing. We've got more ships coming to port every year. If it's not Aedyr, it'll be someone. Yeah, it was tough to see him like this. But I'm glad you didn't give him the heart. He's always been the toughest among us. And even if he won't admit it, he doesn't want anyone seeing him at his weakest. But it's more important that he say his goodbyes. Properly. They would have taken it hard. I'm glad we could spare them that much. Where to start? It's a huge desert full of sandy wastes, canyons, and highlands. On a clear day, you can stand at one of the overlooks to gaze straight across the great sand sea and see no end to the dunes. Yeah, it's dangerous and stark. A lot like Rauatai, but in a different way. Sandstorms instead of typhoons. Guess that's part of what I liked about it. Familiar, but different. Tama's memory. Never knew how to separate it from this place. And the longer I stayed away, the harder it felt to come back. Harder than I thought. Thirdborn's missing a lot of familiar faces. And the youngsters who've grown up and the new arrivals, they seem green. Like they're cut from a different cloth, a more delicate one.
This plague is tearing everything apart at the seams. Healing may take years, if not generations.
Maybe you're both right. Thirdborns only survived because the people were tougher than the wilds. I just hope the people living behind those walls know how to keep them standing. The story goes that a lot of the first arrivals were Rauataians without other prospects, too low on the ladder to take over the family trade, too poor to learn another. Exactly. Rauatai's an inhospitable environment to say the least, so my people have a proud tradition of seeking our fortunes elsewhere. Rauatai's got a big navy that always needs fresh blood, and there are plenty of opportunities for large, colorful mercenaries and bodyguards all over Eora. Of course not. We've also got poets, artisans, scholars, traders, you name it, just like anywhere else. But they're not the ones who built Thirdborn. It started as a convenient harbor for pirates and mercs to lie low. Bold, or desperate, fishing crews from Rauatai would follow seasonal catches out here. That tells you something about the people willing to attempt it. Over time, those early arrivals built huts, a proper harbor, and walls to protect them from all the hungry things in the desert. Well, that brought in a steady trickle of veterans, ruffians, trophy hunters, and rugged eccentrics. People looking for fresh adventure, or running from the consequences of their old ones. mostly the latter. I joined Raotai's campaign in Deadfire as a young smolt. I came to realize that life wasn't for me. Good thing you're asking the expert. Yeah, it happens. Sharing the road and sharing each other's battles. But out of all the people I've fought alongside, I haven't gotten to know many of them as well as you. You always know what to do. It's like you've got an internal compass guiding you. Not many people have such a clear sense of direction, especially in situations as complicated as these. I never thought I'd feel this at ease again with anyone else, much less myself. But you helped me face loss, regret. After drifting for a long time, I finally feel like I belong again. Thanks. It's a new feeling, but I'm getting used to it. So whatever you need, whatever it takes to finish this journey, I'm with you. To the end. You're asking me? I'm not much of a gossip. Okay, who do you want to know about? She's got a lot of heart, and she's loyal to her people and their principles, even when it costs her. Giada's lost her home, but kept her resolve. It takes a special kind of person to weather what she has and emerge stronger for it. She'll have a lot to figure out after all this, but she's gonna be okay. I noticed that too. It says a lot. I can't say what I'd want the future of animancy to look like, but there's no one I'd trust more than Giada to figure it out. You know, just when I was thinking our little group was getting too solemn and serious, we met her. I'm not so sure about the new friend she's making. Ringram's a dangerous maniac, and I don't like the influence she has over Yatsley. But she keeps things interesting and keeps us on our toes. What's more, she's a good friend to Giada, and Giada's a good influence on her. I'm pretty sure Yatsley flirts with everybody. I don't read anything into it. Don't get me wrong, she's a striking woman, but she and Quilici have a good thing. I'd never get in the middle of something like that. Yeah, and both of those subjects fly way over my head. I prefer dealing with things I can see and make sense of. I just hope she keeps some part of herself grounded with the rest of us. She's brilliant, but I worry that the real-world consequences of the forces she plays with are academic to her. Maybe I shouldn't. Sure. What's on your mind? Shoot. Holler if you need anything else.
Are you seeing anyone, Marius?
Let's not do that again. Let's stay out of Archmage's domains from now on. Sure, we made it out alive, but that outcome felt out of my hands more than I'd like. Right. Well, by all means, keep diving into dark caves and ancient ruins. I'm sure it'll get easier someday. Anyway, I'm glad to be out of there. Time to curl up with some jerky and a few swigs of Wodak. Anyway. Ask away. Yes, I did. The less we talk about that, the better. I see. Let's lay this out, Envoy. I don't need to know how many men you've killed to know you're more than capable in battle. Now, we just met, Envoy, and I'm here to do a job. Maybe we'll be best of friends someday, but this isn't that day. Best we just keep things professional. Oh gods, it's like my first week working with Kai, all over again. Well, I'm one of the very few people who spends most of their time out in the wilds and haven't gotten themselves killed yet. I know the difference between hay bleed toxin and high tox bloom, which is something you should be really thankful for. And you know the Balrog and the grinning Balrog? No, but I am one of the few who have seen a Balrog and lived. Mostly because I had the brains to run the Dragu out of there. The key is survival. I understand that, and a lot of people don't. And that's why they're dead, and I'm still here. We're gonna get you where you're going, Envoy. Alive and with as few blithe tail bites as possible. That, more or less, is all you need to know about me. Oh, you noticed. I don't know. I've heard stories all my life about the gods and magic, and they never seem to do any good for anyone. It's just Pargrunan wilderness lore, developed over the centuries in Solace. Tricks, traps, gadgets, nothing more. But hey, if people want to think it's magic, then go ahead. I'm not gonna bend over backward just to seem internally consistent. Almost all of them. Andra pulling down the moon to destroy civilization, the Godhammer bomb, all that stuff down in the Deadfire. No one as fickle as those gods seem to be should ever be put in charge of reincarnation, I tell you that. I don't know how you missed it. The god Aethys woke up one day and decided to stomp his way across the world. Imagine. An enormous, unstoppable statue destroying everything in sight. I heard he wanted to destroy the wheel and end reincarnation forever. I wasn't there, but it all happened just a few years ago. Strange you hadn't heard of it. Basically, the goddess Andra wanted a civilization dead, so she pulled down the moon to do it. They say Abidan shattered the moon to save the people, and then threw himself in the way of the largest shard. And for his interference, Andra built Abidan a statue as a tribute. Makes no sense at all. Right. More trouble than they're worth, if you ask me. Well, you asked, I answered. Feel free to cast all the spells and cry out to whatever gods you like. I won't stop you. Just don't expect me to join in. Same one you are. What kind of blessed question is that? Oh, I see. I sometimes use Lember without really thinking about it. That's what you mean, right? Lember is the language spoken in Solace. though everyone knows Aedyran because it's a common tongue. You don't hear Lember much in the rest of the lands. Makes it easy to see which of us are from Solace and which aren't. I barely realize I'm doing it anymore. If you want to learn Lember, you'll have to spend time in Solace. And that's not going to happen anytime blessed soon. Ha, right. Something like that. I'm sure you'll pick it up as we travel. It's not that blessed difficult. Oh, do tell. We've already talked about this. I hope this isn't going to be a problem. Right. Well, until then, let's just keep things professional. No, I didn't poison that drink. Even the rankest Nimdude walking doesn't deserve that kind of death. They clearly heard about my reputation and thought I'd do something like that. Question is, why would he drink from that cup? Right. Why do they do what they do? The mystery of the baby wit in its natural habitat. If he was a real hunter, he'd have studied his target and known what I was capable of. Lucky for me, he was just a tourist in need of a good reminder. More often than you think. Someone's always trying to get a reputation by going after people who have one. Turns out those of us who have a reputation sometimes came by it honestly. What do you need? Right, changing the subject. What do you need? Let's make sure they're not listening. You already asked about Giada, so you probably want to talk about Kai or Yatsley. Right. Yes, I do. Real strong Blessed Day opinions. I don't trust her any further than I could throw her, which honestly isn't that far. She actually goes down into these ruins on purpose, just to see what's down there, I guess? And now she's trying to lead us to the garden. Might as well be searching for WoW's wacky wagon of mysteries. Nah, I'm sure she knows what she's doing, but what if she doesn't? Thanks for talking. I don't think I could do what you do. Too many unknowns.
But that's what makes it interesting, dearie.
But you can't prepare for what you can't predict. You get bit by a root viper, I have an antidote. But in those ruins, anything could happen.
Well, you just have to prepare as best as you can. And stay on your toes.
It's just not possible to be ready for everything. I'd drive myself to Vinta trying to cover anything that could happen.
Yes, but once you've gone through 30 or so ruins, you start to know what to expect. It makes packing much easier.
Gives me the vreekas just thinking about it.